Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to today's show. This is a Startup Junkie. And of course, as always, I have shared with you that I will keep you informed on everything that's going on inside of Congress right now, as far as the stimulus packages go, as it relates to the CARES Act, as well as the PPP, which is the Paycheck Protection Program. But I got to be honest with you. Even though right now there is a proposed $310 billion on the table for small businesses, I can tell you for a fact that not all small businesses are getting the money. In fact, some I'm not going to say multinational, but definitely national big chains have circumvented the system to actually get some money. So most of you would probably know that is no surprise. So before we get into it, let me just say welcome to today's show. Thank you so very much for our sponsor, Infinite Technologies. Thank you so very much for sponsoring this today's show. And we really appreciate everything that you're doing to actually make this show possible. As you know, the Startup Junkie multi-streams across Facebook, at least 3 pages. All right. My personal profile page, my entrepreneur page, Anthony AJ Johnson, as well as the startupjunkie.io private group. And we're on YouTube right now, live streaming, as well as Periscope/Twitter. Now, I am going to get deep into it today. Thank you for the people that are already in the room. Hey, if you would, let me know you can hear me. Thank you very much, Wanderlin. In fact, Miss Simpson, you're going to be real interested in today's show because this actually affects your business. I believe you have a trucking business, if I'm not mistaken. So this is definitely going to affect you. But before I get deeper into what's in the new proposed package, for all intents and purposes, it appears as if it's going to pass, because when you get Marco Rubio, who is a staunch Republican, actually posting on Twitter, hey, we got this package that's coming up, it's very clear to me that if the Democrats proposed it, and a lot of the main Republicans, such as McCarthy, they are saying, yes, we're into this, then chances are it's going to happen. Hello, Miss Yolanda Lewis. How you doing, young lady? Appreciate you checking in. Hey, if you all are on, if you're on Periscope watching this right now, if you're on YouTube, definitely chime in. I want to make sure that you can hear what I'm about to share today. So I see there are people in the room. So without further ado, I'm just going to get started. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to talk about what's in the proposed package. And I'm also going to share with you some stuff that you really need to be aware of, especially if you're a minority-owned business, because there are certain provisions in this package that specifically relates to you. But I'm going to talk to you about not how to protect your interests in this whole thing. So let me just go ahead and share my screen here. Share my screen. There we go. I got to share my second screen, not the primary screen, but the secondary screen. And voila, here we go. All right, so this is what's in the new proposed deal. Now, the new proposed deal is $310 billion for the PPP. As you know, the PPP is the the payment protection program. All right. In other words, you want to protect, all those workers out there, to make sure you get a paycheck. Right. And so in the $310 billion, $60 billion of it has been earmarked or potentially earmarked. And for all intents and purposes, this thing is going to pass because even Trump is saying that he's going to sign it. But $60 billion of this is for rural and minority-owned businesses. Now, here's where I don't want you to fall for the okie doke. Now, I see there are a bunch of people in the room right now. And if you are a CPA, if you're an attorney, if you are a financial advisor, feel free to hop in and add to this. Because as I said, I am not a CPA. I'm a business person. Primarily, my focus is technology and startups. But if this is your area of expertise, feel free to chime in the chat, and I will add your comment to today's live broadcast, streaming broadcast / podcast. Now, listen, minority-owned businesses. And these are the businesses that are local, that are within the neighborhood. All right? You got to understand, what is the classification of minority? Okay? Many of you out there know that minority could be a women-owned business, like women owning businesses. That's minority business, right? However, oftentimes big businesses or businesses that are doing quite well to get funding will put the business name or put the officer, the head officer, the CEO, the CFO, the CIO, anyone that's running the company, they will put it in the name of the woman because the woman is a minority. If you're a double minority, such as a black female, this is super important to you. And if you're or Hispanic, female, which is a double minority, if you're a minority in general and not part of the minority in general, you really need to pay attention and get on this as soon as it comes out, because from what they're saying, there is no way there's ways of tracking the loans, right? But there are absolutely no strict guidelines on how all this money is, like who gets approved for the loans and who doesn't, although there is criteria. And this has been extremely evident as it relates to big corporations, big food service vendors. Big food service network providers or companies / restaurants actually getting some of this money. All right. Now, let me just go through the last 3 bullet points, and then I'm going to share with you some of the companies that have gotten this money, and you'll be absolutely 100% surprised, because these are publicly traded companies that are getting this money, and they've actually figured out how to circumvent the money, the top maximum amount of money that you can get, such as $10 million, because these loans are only for up to $10 million, but some companies have literally got $20 million. All right. Not only have some companies got this money, but some universities with these huge endowments, such as Harvard, who has an endowment over $40 billion, is getting money. And at the same time, simultaneously kicking students out, from their housing that cannot afford to even buy a plane ticket to get home. So yes, that is pretty freaking bad. All right. So, but anyway, 75 billion of the 3 billion is for hospitals. We need that. 25 billion is for testing, and 60 billion, again, is for the small business disaster relief program. So let me just bring it back to you here. All right. So the thing that you have to understand, okay? If you are a small business owner and you have been turned down for economic relief. Now, let me give you the classification of small business in this country. That's 500 employees or less, okay? That includes you as the owner, as the head manager, whatever, right? The main numbers, what you're looking at. Originally, there was no small amount that you can actually apply for, right? But you could apply for up to $10 million. Now, I have heard reported, and you can Google this and research this for yourself, that some banks, are not even taking the application unless the loan is for $1 million. Like, I don't know how true that is, but they said that Wells Fargo is doing some shuffling around. Wells Fargo again, right? Some shuffling around of loans, kind of like, putting people in priority positions or companies in priority positions. I suggest you do the research and read it for yourself. I'm not going to spread it, but I'm just saying there's information out there about that. Okay, now, here's the thing. All right. So you have all these HBCUs, right? You have all these local colleges. You have all these small universities that are suffering, that may have to furlough some of their employees and staff workers and professors purely based on the fact that enrollment is down. Okay. They don't have huge endowments, right? They don't have huge endowments, but some universities, such as Harvard, such as Columbia, and some other universities with these huge endowments are actually getting some of this money. Do you believe me or do you not believe me? Well, don't take my word for it. Let me share this with you. And this is straight from, not only from, you could just Google this, right? And you'll see reports on CNN, HuffPost, and MSNBC. You'll see reports all over the place. But this is taken directly from the Twitter page of Harvard University. Harvard University will receive nearly $9 million in aid from the federal government through the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Stimulus Act, CARES, right? That's what it's called, CARES Act. The Department of Education announced, right? Although Harvard has an endowment of $40 billion, yes, I said that with a B, $40 billion plus dollars. But at the same time, they're taking this money. And from my understanding, as of coming on this show, there is absolutely no intent to actually give this money back to, say, the smaller universities that can use it. Because remember, this whole program was a first come, first serve. That's why some I keep wanting to say multinational companies, but that's why companies that are traded on the stock exchange, right? Such as Ruths Holdings and some other companies are literally getting the funding that was intended for small businesses. In fact, I'm going to share a report with you real quick that shows you how, well, actually, I'm going to read this to you. I'm going to read it directly to you, all right? And this is straight from CNN. If you can just forgive all of the little videos of me in the background. This is straight from CNN. So CNN Business. Okay, highlighted in yellow. As a result of the heavily lobbied exemptions, large food service operations landed $10 million in loans from the PPP. All right. These include Potbellies, sandwich shops, Shake Shack, which has upward of $100 million in cash on hand. Like, they have money on hand. Fiesta Restaurants Group, you know them as Taco Cabana, as well as was that Kuri Sushi, the largest revolving sushi chain in the U.S., disclosed nearly $6 million. They basically secured $6 million in loan. But here's the kicker: operators behind Ruths Steakhouses and J. Alexander chain received loans of $20 million and $15.1 million respectively. So what does that mean? That means, and I actually read this, if you go, because actually within this post is a link to the article. So I'm not just making stuff up. I'm actually giving you the resource to go and read the articles for yourself. Here's the deal. There was a dentist in a different state, because I'm in Texas, I forgot what state he was in, only wanted to get $46,000 in loans to actually help keep his staff on so he would not have to furlough them or fire him, just straight up fire him, right? They were turned down. You know why? It wasn't that the dentist didn't qualify for the money. Let me tell you what the problem was. The money was already taken. And so many of you may have heard that Shake Shack received $10 million and Shake Shack has decided to give the money back. But Ruth Chris, J. Alexander, and some of these other huge companies, such as the Fiesta Group that owns Taco Cabana, has not decided to give the money back. Now, I get what you're saying. You might be saying, well, AJ, it seems to me that they should should be able to get the money if they're a national chain. Well, there's a whole lot of problems with that, and this is just my opinion. So the views that are expressed on this show, the Startup Junkie, is that of his host and producers, and I am the host, and the producers are the other people. I don't have to mention their names, but just know that they agree with me on this, right? If a dentist cannot get $46,000 and other companies can get $20 million, right? And $10 million, then what the hell is this? What is the money all about? Okay. What is it all about? It's all about, who lobbies in Washington, in DC, to get what they want. So now you might be saying, okay, well, AJ, you keep saying that the original intent of the stimulus package was, and yes, I'm going political here today, and I don't really care if I turn some of you guys off and you don't want to listen to me, you don't want to follow the Startup Junkie. All right, fine. Okay, I'm okay with it. All right. But yes, I'm about to share this information with you. I'm getting political, but I'm not being political. In other words, I'm just sharing the information with you as it comes about. Now, here's the thing. Originally, the $350 billion for small businesses to give them relief through the PPP, to protect paychecks and keep people on and employed, was a loan that was to be forgiven. The only thing that you had to pay back was a very small interest, and I believe it was like at 4% if you actually conducted business and kept people on as you said that you were getting the money for. That was a mouthful, all right? But here's the thing. The upward amount, or the maximum amount that you literally could get, was $10 million. Okay, all right? $10 million. But how is it that Ruth Chris got $20 million? Well, let me tell you how they did it. So basically, they applied for the $10 million, in which, by the way, small business is classified as 500 employees or less. Ruth Chris has like 5,000, right? Employees, right? 5,000. So basically what they did was they found a loophole because they have subsidiaries, and they were able to basically double that amount. Okay, so they got the 10 million, then they got another 10 million stacked on top of that. So hence, they ended up with $20 million. So why am I making you informed of all of this, right? If you are a small minority-owned business, right, then what you really need to do is, once this thing passes, you need to hurry up and reach out to your local credit union, your local banker. You need to apply for this money as soon as possible, because this money is first come, first serve. All right. So you really need to get on this. And my job, or what I am choosing to do today, is share with you. And because normally this is technically outside of the scope of the Startup Junkie and what we do in terms of helping budding entrepreneurs and business owners basically start their business, grow their business, scale their business, everything from funding, understanding what venture capital firms are, all the stuff, all that boring but exciting stuff and technology and all that, that's what we do. But today I need to let you know that if you are a business owner, a small business owner, especially a minority business owner, you need to get your ass in gear and get on this as soon as it comes out. Because truthfully, all of these other corporations that are traded, because there are no specific guidelines other than how you can qualify for the money, but how the money is distributed and all that, even though technically there are guidelines, there are loopholes, right? So you need to get on this as soon as possible to make sure that you can get some money in the door, right? So you can literally keep people employed. Now, I know that was a lot. All right. So I'm seeing a lot of people in the room. All right. So I'm not asking. I see somebody talking about their cash app and send them some money. Get the fuck off my my broadcast. Person, get the fuck off my broadcast. Yes, I normally don't curse, but we're here trying to help businesses, right? We're not here for anybody to jump in and try to get some money. You know what I mean? Get some get some money for their app or through the Cash App. No, that's not what we're doing. So I'm employing everyone out there that's a small business owner to take the advice that I've given to you today, take it to heart. And I'm just making you aware that if you're in a university, if you're some kind of administrator in a university also, if you have not gotten on this, when this thing comes out, get on this, because if major universities, Ivy League universities such as Harvard and Columbia are getting money, you should definitely, throw your hat in the ring to try to get some money to actually help maintain these universities. And being a product of an HBCU. Now, don't get me wrong. I went to Boston and I went to UMass. However, I went to TSU. I'm a product of an HBCU, right? And I know the struggles of an HBCU. So I am saying to any and everyone that this new bill affects, definitely get on it. All right? Definitely get on it. So I appreciate everyone checking in. Hey, what's up? CC Sykes. I know you has a different name, but it's cool. It's cool. Hope everything is going well for you. Checking in from California. All right. See Yolanda, Wonderland. Thank you all for checking out the Startup Junkie today. I'm just going to end it there. All right. So I hope that this information that I shared with you was good. Okay. Something that you can use. Maybe it's something that you can share. Right. Be sure to check out the Startup Junkie Live Show podcast on Apple iTunes, Spotify, TuneIn, as well as iHeart Media. And until tomorrow, everyone, just take care. See y'all later.